Broadcast is live now.
Yay!
Hello.
Hello.
We finally made it.
Well, here's the thing. If one platform doesn't work, just jump to another one.
Yes.
Easy. And if that one doesn't work, jump to Zoom, last resort, record it, and then release it later. Hiya, Sally. Welcome.
Hi, Wendy. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Bit hot, a bit flustered, but apart
with
from
a
that,
lot of conversations, I'm seeing, with a lot of podcasts.
Yeah. And you know what? I actually really love podcasting because I get to learn so much. It's one of the reasons why I like do it, because I'm one of those, I'm a coach that loves to learn. I think all coaches love to learn, to be fair. And we'll get into that conversation a little bit deeper in a second, but it's that continuous learning. So it's great to have you here.
Thank you. Great to be here. Thank you. It's an honor.
Welcome back, everybody, to yet another Conscious Coaching Insights show. I'm going to have to put my specs on to read what it is that we're going to be talking about. Myself and Sally connected because she helped me create the manifesto for the community. And we got into this topic because it was just, we were so fascinated and having a great conversation. I just thought it would be a really good space to explore this at a deeper level. So thank you for agreeing, Sally, to do that with me. I've just got to wait for it to swing back round so I can read it. So what we're going to be talking about is how to influence your clients in seeing a different perspective as powerful and responsible. And if I remember correctly, we started to have a conversation about the role of the coach and the coming at it from the perspective of helping that client to see a different perspective, but using a combination of mentoring and coaching.
That's right.
So what's your spin?
Exactly
what's
right.
your take?
Well, you remember perfectly what we were talking about, and the conversation I remember started because there is, at least here in Latin America, there is some controversy as to how neutral a coach must be. I have been asked in speaking engagements, I have been asked frequently by my interviewers if what I'm saying is what a coach is or not supposed to do. Such as if I go to a company and the people are defining a strategy and making a strategic plan, do I, as a coach, have the right to enter into that space and say something? And my reply for that question, or for the question of, very directly, but coaches are not supposed to influence the way people think. And my answer to both of them are the following. When you go to a company and you address a process and you help people, you must know where you are. You don't need to be an expert and you don't need to create the strategy, but you need to know the language. You need to know the challenges that are basically the challenges that are not visible, but are there, and maybe they can be the deepest challenges. If you don't know that, then you can do a very shallow job. And so if you go to a company and you are accompanying a certain process, you cannot separate mind and body. Coaches say that they don't separate mind and body, but they do when they ask me those questions. Because I need to be holistic in my conversation, and people must trust that I know what I'm talking about too. So I need to know. I cannot be a coach on anything. I need to know the context and the topics and of the coaching that I'm doing. So that's one aspect of it. Now, the second aspect is what we were talking about, that coaches, most of us love to be coaches because we're always learning and having fun at the same time that we are learning. Now, the client wants to have fun. The client maybe wants to learn, maybe not. The client wants to solve a certain situation or to step out of one and enter into another one, or to go deeper into something. The client comes to you because he wants or she wants something out of the process. Now, he doesn't care if you're coaching or you're mentoring or you're consulting or you're teaching or you're doing what. What the coach needs to know is what is the effect of what we're doing. So we might need to be all of that. When somebody asks you to write a report, you're a consultant because you are writing results for somebody who usually is not the coachee. I'm always talking about executive coaching here.
Yeah.
And so if you're writing a report, you're saying something that is important not only for the coachee, but for somebody else. Is that not consulting? Now,
totally.
What we cannot avoid doing, I have seen it in my 30 years of coaching practice. What I cannot avoid doing is being a mentor sometimes. Why? Now we're going back to learning, because there are phases of knowledge. People know they know, or think they know they know. People know they don't know, and people do not know that they do not know. Now, if I don't know that I do not know, that piece of the world, which is infinite, does not belong in my space.
Yes.
So if I,
I'm sorry, I'm just like so with you on that. I'm so with you on that bit. I totally got that. I'm like, yeah.
Because you see, we say we're not Cartesian, we say we're holistic, we say we're systemic, but we are not, because we're human. And we have been brought up in a Cartesian, linear, metaphysical world in which things are the way they are, or they're supposed to be. And that is not the coaching space. That is not the space of coaching. The space of coaching is more than anything else, addressing the being of the person in terms of what the person is capable of observing today and what the coach thinks the client needs to observe that he is not capable of observing because he doesn't know that he doesn't know. I'm sorry I say he, but it's he or she.
Yeah.
And I'm a she, so I can be forgiven. So you see, it's all connected. It's all connected. And when I hear these questions, of course you have to be honest, and you have to be knowledgeable. And what happens in the coaching world very often is that people learn certain distinctions, and they learn it more or less the same way that they learn anything else. And that is a learning that deals with being able to do new actions or to modify the kinds of actions you're doing, but it doesn't necessarily penetrate the being, the soul of the person that you're working with. And coaching is about empowering or letting loose the potential of the client, and the potential of the client is within the client. So you cannot not address the client's being if you coach. And so that's for one. You need to address the client's being. You are going to do executive coaching, but you will not be able to do more than teaching If the client doesn't allow you, or if you yourself invent those constraints that you cannot enter into that person's soul, because then you're invading other territories or whatever. So being a coach in these days in which we have a VUCA world and such complexity makes, on the one hand, makes the life of the coaches incredibly fascinating and incredibly challenging, because we need to question where we are, where we stand, not ourselves. I mean, we need to be honest with ourselves and say, what am I capable of doing? And this is what I'm going to offer. But I'm not going to offer a corporate solution if I cannot address that, because I don't have the knowledge, because I don't have the experience, because my being is not prepared to interact with other beings in that field.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean by first starting by the coach, looking at coaching from a much broader perspective, and questioning what is it that I need to learn. And if I can't get to what I need to learn, I need a coach. Coaches need coaches always, or mentors at least.
Yeah.
So it isn't, look, this thing between the mentors and basically the mentors and the coaches, I see it very similarly as how I see the problem or the challenge between being a manager and a leader. A person needs to be a manager and a person needs to be a leader. And the competencies of a manager and the competencies of a leader are not the same. So the world for managers is much more complex today, because if they don't become leaders, they will stay, instead of being managers, they will at most be able to be project managers, but they will not be able to go into a vision, into a strategy, into making the company competitive. I don't know if I'm using so many distinctions here that it might be complex.
Yeah. No, I get it. But the good thing about this is these are all learned skills. This is we can absolutely learn all of these different disciplines. I think even if you've got a fixed mindset, even and you need to develop more of a growth mindset, even that's a learning within itself to step up to the next.
The things that in order to change from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, somebody has to show you the way. Yeah. Because if you have a fixed mindset, you don't realize it.
Yeah.
You think that's the way that you should be. It's not fixed. It's the way things are. It's the way things should be. And you don't know that you will not grow your mindset with that, in that predicament. So somebody must show you. And if I'm the person who needs that, well, I need to know that somebody must show me. And that is why I think it's absolutely mandatory that we coaches are coached permanently.
Yeah. So it's managing that relationship, isn't it? To acknowledge, gently help that person move to create a new perspective, create a new reality, change their space. And you can't do that if you come from it of the position of, and this is how I was taught coaching, the answers are within them. I just don't believe it. I'm like, actually, no, that's not the case, because I've been in situations where I really do not know the answer. And even if you ask me that coaching question, well, if you did know, what would you know? Whatever, that drives me nuts. That question that everybody's taught.
No, as a coach, you don't need to know the answers. You must interpret the situation of the client. You need to know where the client is standing today.
Yeah.
You need to understand where the client wants to go. You need to know that the client can go further from what the client wants.
Yeah.
If you work and you accompany the client in a certain way. It's a complex profession, and it's fashionable and trendy today, and they're making a fad out of it, and it's very dangerous for the profession, because on the one side we all need coaches. Everybody needs a coach, and on the other hand, since it's demanded and apparently glamorous, too many people are getting into it with no sense of service, with no sense of depth, just a way to, I don't know, to make money easily. Maybe I don't make money easily, and I'm a coach for the last 30 years.
If your coaching school, I warn you now, if your coaching school is telling you that you can make money easy from this profession, you need to question their ethics, because it is, unless you've got an established client base, that just is not true. That does not hold true.
It isn't true. It's a lie.
It is a lie.
You are going to make money because you're a good marketer and you are a good entangler, huh? You can, maybe you are a natural born communicator and a seductor. Okay, you'll make money because of that, not because you're coaching.
Yeah. I really, really, really love, and I guess because this is what I do, and because I am very much focused on getting specific results with my clients, so I have to deliver on my promise. But I really, really love the combination of mentoring, because I've lived it, breathed it, and then using the coaching skills to hold that space for people to grow, to be nurtured, to become bigger than they were when I first started working with them. So they move into a completely different space.
It is too important, because it's not enough to get specific results, which I'm passionate about. If you work with in a context in which there are objectives and there are expected results, you need to address them.
Yeah.
And you need to arrive at them. Of course. But if you only teach the specific issue, you are working on the action and not on the being. So you're teaching. When you work on the action, you teach. Okay, that's why I say it's reasonable to teach, but don't call yourself a coach. You're teaching. You're teaching somebody to learn something. If that doesn't affect the person's being, the person is going to go back to being the way he was, and maybe he's not prepared, being the way he was, to consistently change the way he acts.
Yeah. It's one of the reasons why I've gone down the route of conscious coaching, because it brings in lots of different dynamics. But another reason why I got hooked into it was because I recognized that even though I was really good at getting people results, they wouldn't necessarily stick. And they wouldn't stick because I wasn't doing the conscious piece with them, which was about them at a deeper level as an individual. So as soon as that relationship sort of like came to an end, I've delivered on what it is I need to do, they would go off, but then they wouldn't necessarily be able to continue it because I was the one holding
Exactly.
But now I don't.
So what does that tell you? That you can have a coaching session, a lone coaching session, and somebody can have an understanding, what they call a aha moment. Okay, somebody can have an aha moment, and if there is no action following, and without somebody who's supervising those new actions, it will dilute. The aha will dilute. That is what happens with so many life-changing workshops. You see the testimonials. This workshop, this specific workshop, changed my life for 3 days. Is my assessment.
Yeah, I just got so fascinated because I felt a bit disheartened. I felt responsible. I shouldn't feel responsible as part of my rescuing personality. But I felt responsible. I was like, I would watch people afterwards and I'd be like, why, what's going on? Why are they not? So that's the bit I've now started to master and really dig deep into.
Exactly.
Why,
you need to have a following,
yeah.
and you need to go back to your clients even if they're not anymore your clients, and you need to know what's going on with them, not only to sell them your new products, also to complete your own job.
Exactly. It's that whole part.
And that's what I mean by being responsible. The responsibility is on the part of the coach. Powerful is on the part of the coach and the client.
Yeah. Because it's like, where does your ego come into all of this, isn't it? Yes, it's great to get a testimonial that says, yes, it's been fantastic. But all that's really doing at the end of the day is just feeding your ego, isn't it? You continue.
Well, no, I ask for testimonials because it's a marketing tool.
Oh, yeah, no, I do that.
It's
but
very
it's like,
practical. It's very practical. I in my courses, I do two different things which should not be different. I ask people to fill a form, an evaluation form, and please be as honest as you can be, because this is what will help me to make a better course and will make you feel that you're co-creating something important. Okay, that's the form. And then I ask them on the side, if you want, can you tape or write or whatever a testimonial, understanding that a testimonial is what they learned, what was good, nothing bad.
Nothing bad. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it is definitely a great marketing strategy for sure. You have to do it. It's funny you should say that, actually. There was someone who posted on LinkedIn the other week who said, I never ask for testimonials, do you? She said, I don't feel it's appropriate to. I was just like, I always ask for testimonials, always.
Yeah, well, it's appropriate. That's ethical. Something appropriate is very related to the ethical world, yes? If there is something important for a coach, more than a mentor, I would say, the mentor is less responsible. The mentor shows their lives, the part of their lives that can be useful, and the pitfalls that are not necessary to fall into. But the coach must enter into the soul.
Yeah.
Whatever is the problem he's accompanying to solve. He must enter into the soul of the people. So ethics is incredibly important. And again, we don't all agree on all the ethical considerations.
Yeah.
So many people say, if it's legal, what do you care if it's ethics? Must be legal. But legality is under ethics. You will have more obligations when you consider ethics than only respecting the law.
Well, it runs much deeper, doesn't it?
Yes.
It's completely different.
And so when one says, is it appropriate? I am hearing a fixed mind. Because appropriate is what people say when there are strict rules about things. Wouldn't it be more, how can I say, more appealing to hear something like, I get emotionally affected. I don't dare. I am embarrassed. I feel shame to ask for it. So what is that then?
Yeah, what is
I don't have the answer. I have the question. I don't like to do it, and I have a question. What makes me feel ashamed? And that can bring a very interesting ethical conversation. But if something is not appropriate, okay, it's not appropriate. For whom? For the person to whom it is not appropriate.
My ego, I'm gonna own up here. My ego loves testimonials. My ego's like loves it. I love them. I've only ever had one bad testimonial, but I love them. But I think they play an important role because they help other people make a decision. And I think
absolutely, because I ask people in their testimonials, I ask them specific questions. What did you learn? What did you like about the instructor, the coach, or whatever? What what is it? What are you going to use this in your life for? And what would you say?
That's a nice question.
In my evaluation, I ask if people would recommend my course, specific course, and then I ask them, okay, if you would, what would you tell them?
Nice. That's a nice question as well. Like that. Yeah. How then if you're working consciously, how do you have a process by which you manage your state, or do you just do it quite naturally?
Well, after 30 years, I do it quite naturally, but I have instances of, let's say, I'm very conscious about aligning my own body, emotions, and language, let's say, what I say.
Yeah.
And sometimes I punish myself, which is not very nice, but I make bad judgments as to, let's say, I am very demonstrative of my emotions, and emotions arrive alone. So you need to learn how to manage your emotions. And sometimes my temperament is such that it doesn't give me time to restrain myself, and sometimes I can inhibit, for instance, a client, and that I think is like killing him. So I've worked many years on that, and I've improved. But I can still see some instances in which I am not so happy about my behavior as a coach.
How do you, I was going to use the word recover comes to mind, but I don't know why it's recover. How address, that's not the right word either. But how do you manage that then? How do you manage that when you realize it?
Well, the first thing is that I'm scolding myself, and I realize that I'm scolding myself. And I stop that because I realize that I'm doing it. I stop that, and I tell myself, no, you're not stupid. You're not an uncontrolled person. No, these things sometimes happen. Be compassionate. You're human. You can make a mistake. And let's agree that this was not a good thing to have done, that it would have been much better. And this is a personal, private conversation with me.
Yeah.
It would have been much better to do it differently. Well, how? Well, I think I should have done this. And I start learning. I dissect process into knowledge, into emotions, and into posture, I'm always concerned about aligning it. And as a matter of fact, I invented a method to do that.
Oh, brilliant.
Yes. And it's called PELMET. It's presence, emotions, and language. And the thing is that if they are not aligned, your interlocutors notice that, and they will address particularly your posture, your presence, and your emotions, which are much more linked between them than with language. And so you can say, I'm fantastic, and people will know that you're lying.
Right.
So that method, I call it 100% success in your conversation, because it's a question of having an objective before starting an important conversation. Having an objective. I don't go into a conversation in my work just because. We don't do that.
Yeah.
In the working environment, we have a reason to go into that conversation. We want something out of the conversation. I need to remember what I want from the conversation, have it here, and then I go into the conversation, and I'm very attentive to see if in the conversation I feel a a change in my body, as slight as it might be, but there is a change in my body. My voice is thinner, or I suddenly feel a pain in my stomach, or I feel blushing, or my hands are sort of sleepy, whatever it is, but I feel that. And without stopping the conversation, I address it and I breathe in a certain way.
Okay.
So I breathe. And then I ask myself, what am I feeling? And it's a very rigid method. I don't want to be rigid, but this is a very rigid method because we tend to give explanations. No explanation, no language here. The language is only to help you see what's going on in your body. When you know what is going on in your body, you breathe until your breathing frequency slows down. And when it slows down, you ask yourself, what am I feeling? I'm angry. Is that good for what you want to do, for what you want to get out of this conversation? It could be. So if it is good, then okay, make it better. How can you make it better? Usually what you're going to tell yourself is that it's not good. So if it's not good, now you come into action and you ask yourself, what can I do to change this situation? What can I do to align my body, my emotions, and what I'm going to do? So I'm going to do something that will change my emotion and my posture will change. That's the theory behind it. But it's very easy to do because you can just stand up, or if you're talking to somebody, you can cough, and or you can ask a question. You just change the trend that the conversation was going into.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible.
Read my book.
We'll have to pop the link below. That's incredible. Because it reminds me of one of the things I used to do when I was speaking on live and I was very nervous was I would have a cup of water, and when I was getting flustered, like panicking in my head, I would drink a sip of water, and that would just kick in enough breathing space for me to go.
You were practicing part of the method. Unconsciously, you were changing your action. You were changing your point of observation. And if I'm, for example, now I'm looking at blinds that cover a beautiful panoramic landscape up on a 17th floor.
Yeah,
I'm seeing the Andes Mountains from here, but I'm not seeing them because they're covered by a blind. So I see the blind here. And if I look to my side, I see books. I'm not seeing any blinds. Oh, the landscape is so different. So when you observe, there are certain actions that you can undertake in a certain point of observation and others in another one. And the same thing with emotions. Emotions allow you to do certain things and to not do. They don't allow you to do certain things. If you're in an anxiety crisis, you're not going to go and ask your fiancé to marry you today.
Yeah, I love that. So, in terms of your book, send me the link, and then I'll add it to the book list.
Yeah, so I'll send you the link.
And I'll pop it below the video as well. This conversation has been absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you. For me too. It's fascinating, and it has some pepper in it because it is a little controversial.
Yeah, it's funny. I just don't see it as controversial, but I know it is. I know if we went to ICF or one of the mains, they'd be like. They would be like not having any of it.
They won't love that. I read Damian Goldbars, who is a past president of ICF, wrote a book some years ago. I don't know if he thinks the same now, but they were so concerned about not jumping into the feet of psychologists that they restricted our field of action ridiculously. And for example, he stated very clearly in his book that it's not part of our jobs to see a couple.
Do you think some of this is to do with how awake people
are?
And
I said, what? The basic problem in a couple is communication. And if coaches know something about, it's about communication and about what these people are not seeing, are not thanking, all the things that they're not seeing because they have one issue that is bothering them.
Yeah.
And we were not allowed, but I said, no way. I haven't come this far to obey rules from people who have agendas. That's a problem.
Yes, that's an interesting topic. Yeah. I mean, I do think some of it is because it comes down again to that, like, having a fixed mindset again. Yes. into a discipline, and how open they are to explore other possibilities. I guess we're just all on our own path.
And to study and calculate and have your compensations for some risks that you might get into. Of course, life is not without risk.
Life needs to be with risk. It makes it healthy. In small doses.
And a little bit more fun, maybe, no? Well, there is a chemical that we extract from our bodies, and it's adrenaline. And if we do that, it's because we need it. So, in moderate quantities, we need that. And so we need to go into new fields, and we need to be very cautious, yes, but we also need to be daring and do things we have never done. I think all of us, all the people in the world, should do every day one thing they have never done.
I agree. And there's so much being learned now. That's the thing as well. Neuroscience, just absolutely fascinating. I've become fascinated by neuroscience.
Yeah, and you know, there's something about the discoveries of neuroscience that angers me so much. And that is that people are so content to say, well, we are humans, we are mammals, and so don't expect, not to rape somebody, not to rape a woman who's too sexy and too provocative. What is that?
I don't know what that
we
is.
Don't only have this primitive thing that was born when we had to hunt or be in the open and subject to all those perils. We're not in that life anymore. Why should we adore? Why should we render submission to something that is obsolete? We have it because if there's a fire, somebody needs to warn us. We need it. We need the brains, but we need the brains for healthy reasons, not for unhealthy reasons, because our brains have developed so much that there are so many things that we can do, and that we can trade off with those other primitive brains. So it angers me to know that we are plastic people, that we are capable of learning anything, and that our anatomy changes when we learn. Because if you see, learning comes from the context, and that's another thing we talked about in our first conversation. It comes from the context, it comes from the outside. So it doesn't matter what percentage here, what percentage there, but it is a fact that we live in a context, and that the context influences our brains.
Yeah, but for sure. There's just no escaping it, is there? Sally, how can people get hold of you?
What can we do? Shall I? Where shall I write it? Is there something somewhere
I can post all your detail, but how can people easily get hold? You're on Facebook.
Yeah, I am on Facebook. I have a, I don't know, they invented a second page and now it's the official one, and I don't want to use it because I have a page.
Right.
But when I want to share, that's new. When I want to share, they take my sharing to the new page, and so they are forcing me to do something I don't want to do.
Yeah, that's the problem with social, isn't it? What about your
Yeah,
website?
but I have a website, and I have
Yep.
a LinkedIn is very easy for to get hold of me in LinkedIn, and in Facebook. Well, I have a page and a business page, but the page is fine. Sally Wendersky is my name, with my name, my
Yep.
profile, and Sally Wendersky, Sally B Coach is the other one. I'm in Instagram as S Bendersky, and oh,
I'm going
I'm
to put
so
all the
easily
links
found.
below.
Yeah,
I think that's the easiest thing to do is I'll put the links below because, um, especially because of the spelling, just to make sure that people get it right.
shall I
Because
send them to you?
yeah, send it to me or yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, do it after.
By the messenger. Messenger is
Yeah,
another thing.
just send them to me in Messenger. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
Whatever's
okay.
easiest.
I'll send you all the ways, and it will be fantastic to be able to talk to people. Imagine now I'm in Chile, you're in
Yeah,
Thailand.
yeah,
We're just one world,
yeah,
and I want us to be only one world
yeah.
in all our diversities.
All right then, lovely. It's been an honour. Great to speak to you,
Thank you,
and
an
I
honor
will
for
speak
me.
to you soon. Take care.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Bye bye, everyone who's listening or seeing us, and I hope to meet some of you. Thank
Take
you,
care.
Wendy. Thank you
Bye,
for a
lovely.
lovely conversation.